давай, я, блядь, стволю. Гай! Вперед! Вперед! Прикрывай там пушкой! Прикрывай! Да, блядь, не пристреливай! Давай, давай, вперед! Давай! Давай, давай, картошка, пошел! Сюда поработай, давай! Подожди, товарищ! Не попади! Давай! Попади, не попади! Вперед, вперед! Передай, пожалуйста. Братцы, передавай. Пошел, с левой стороны. Подходь. Братцы. Не туда. Не сзади.
The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. In Belgorod direction, units of the Sever Group of Forces inflicted damage on units of 2 mechanized brigades, 1 assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, AFU, and 1 territorial defense brigade close to Myropolskoye, Prokody, Veliky Prikol, and Osoyevka, Sumy region. The enemy lost more than 85 troops, 1 armored fighting vehicle, and 2 motor vehicles. As a result of the resolute actions, the Zapad Group of Forces, Katarinovka, Donetsk People's Republic, has been liberated. Russian troops hit manpower and military hardware of 2 mechanized brigades of the AFU and 1 territorial defense brigade near Kondrashavka, Kupiansk, Shikovka, Kharkov region, Novoy, and Kirovsk, Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 215 troops, 3 artillery guns, 1 electronic warfare station, and 1 ammunition depot. The Yud Group of Forces improved the tactical position. 7 mechanized brigades of the AFU and 1 territorial defense brigade were engaged near Seversk, Minkovka, Chasov Yar, Konstantinovka, Artem, Kalinovo, and Tarasovka, Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy sustained losses of up to 300 troops, 2 armored fighting vehicles, including 1 U.S.-made M113 armored personnel carrier, 22 motor vehicles, 1 electronic warfare station, 2 ammunition depots, and 2 material depots. The center group of forces took more advantageous lines and positions. Losses were inflicted on manpower and hardware of 3 mechanized brigades, 2 infantry brigades, 1 airborne brigade, 1 assault brigade, 1 UAV brigade, 1 assault regiment, 1 regiment of unmanned aerial systems of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 1 Marine brigade, and 1 National Guard brigade near Yelizavatovka, Dmitrov, Krasnoarmeysk, Zvarivo, Kotlino, Udagnoy, Lenina, Novosergievka, Kotlianovka, and Bogdanovka, Donetsk People's Republic. The Ukrainian armed formations sustained losses of up to 440 troops, 1 tank, and 3 armored fighting vehicles, including 1 U.S.-made Max Pro armored vehicle. 7 motor vehicles, 3 field artillery guns, and 1 ammunition depot were also neutralized. Elements of the Vostok group of forces continued advancing into the depth of enemy defenses. They inflicted losses on manpower and hardware of 2 mechanized brigades, 1 mountain assault brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a territorial defense brigade near Podobnoy, Komar, Berlitskoy, and Volnoy Pol, Donetsk People's Republic. AFU losses amounted to up to 140 troops, 1 armored fighting vehicle, 2 motor vehicles, and 3 field artillery guns, including 1 Polish-made 155mm Krab self-propelled artillery system and 1 U.S.-made 155mm M777 howitzer. The Dnipro Group's units improved the tactical situation. They hit units of 1 mechanized brigade, 1 mountain assault brigade, 2 coastal defense brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and 1 territorial defense brigade near Novodanilovka, Pavlovka, Zaporozhye region, Satovoy, and Poniatowka, Kherson region. Up to 70 troops, 1 armored fighting vehicle, and 3 motor vehicles of the enemy have been neutralized. Operational tactical aviation, attack drones, missile troops, and artillery of the groups of forces of the Russian Federation have hit command posts of unmanned aerial vehicles, missile and artillery depots, as well as clusters of AFU manpower and hardware in 137 areas. Air defense systems shot down 3 U.S.-made HIMARS MLRS projectiles and 95 fixed-wing UAVs. In violation of the Russian-American agreements to cease strikes at energy facilities for 30 days from March 18 this year, the Kyiv regime continues its daily unilateral attacks against the Russian energy infrastructure. Over the past 24 hours, the Ukrainian armed forces have attacked Russian energy facilities 6 times. In Rostov region, on April 6, at 1:22, an attack launched by a Ukrainian UAV against a power facility of the Rosseti branch, Rostov Enterprise of Main Electric Networks, powered off the 220 kV high-voltage line of the Novocherkassk State District Power Plant, R20I circuit. In addition, at 2:55 a.m. high-voltage line was disabled as a result of an attack launched by a Ukrainian UAV against a power facility of the Rosseti South branch, Rostovenergo. About 1,000 household consumers were left without electricity in Myasnikovsky district. On April 6, at 7:30, in Voronezh region, an attack launched by a Ukrainian UAV against a power facility of the Rosseti Center's branch, Voronezh Energo, damaged overhead cables and thus left household consumers without electricity in Kalinino, Borisoglebsky district. On April 6, at 22:15, in Kherson region, a Ukrainian drone attacked the 150 kV Vinogradovo power substation of the Rosseti branch, the Tavrichesky Enterprise of Main Electric Networks. In the Donetsk People's Republic on April 6, at 18:14, the AFU intentionally launched artillery shelling against a power substation of the State Unitary Enterprise of the Donetsk People's Republic Regional Energy Supply Company. As a result, a transformer shut down and a fire broke out. The Voda Donbassa, Water of Donbass, utility company in Donetsk was left without electricity. In Bryansk region, on April 7 at 6:05, a substation of the Rosseti Center's branch, Bryansk Energo, was put out of action because the transformer was damaged in a shelling attack launched by the Ukrainian armed forces. Since the beginning of the special military operation, the armed forces of the Russian Federation have neutralized 660 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 50,177 unmanned aerial vehicles, 601 anti-aircraft missile systems, 22,710 tanks and other armored fighting vehicles, 1,534 MLRS combat vehicles, 23,320 field artillery guns and mortars, 33,750 units of special military vehicles,